Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Aaron Williams.
Welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We are radio for the local craft beer movement. We're not broadcasting from our flagship studios at AM 920 The Answer. We are in the field this week. I'm Tim Dennis.
And I'm Aaron Williams. Just kidding. I'm Brian Hewitt. Aaron Williams is on assignment this week. As Tim mentioned, we're not in the studio. We're out enjoying some pizza and beer and broadcasting from Your Pie Perimeter.
That's right, and we'll be talking to the guys from Omaha Brewing Company. They came all the way up to Atlanta for their pint night here at Your Pie. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this week.
You are very welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here and a privilege. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We managed to make it through the blizzard of 2017 here, Snowpocalypse 2017. Any of it make it down to Omaha? Any at all?
I got a little brisk, but no snow.
That's
or
it,
anything.
right?
No.
So, but a busy week. We managed to get some beers in and that. So, Brian, what'd you enjoy this week?
Yeah, it was busy. So we went down to Gate City Brewing and took a look at their operation. Got a chance to tour their downstairs, which is under construction right now, and it looks like it's going to be a really cool place to hang out when they're done. Tried all their beer, and I think that the Vanilla Brown was probably my favorite. It's really good. Other than that, I drank some Vanilla Hazelnut Marshall Zukov, an entire shaker pint of Tropicalia, if you can believe it.
Yes.
A lot of Scofflaw Interrogation Stout, and even a 2013 St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. And I also published my top 10 list of cigars on StogieReview.com for the year of 2016, yes.
That's it. For those that don't know, Brian Hewitt is a friend of the show, standing in for Aaron this week, helping us out, and he is a blogger extraordinaire at StogieReview.com, so if you want some good cigar advice, go check out Brian's top 10 there on Stogie Review. So, as Brian, I hung out. Brian, I think I drank a lot of the same beers as you this week.
I think you did. Yeah.
We took the trip to Gate City, enjoyed their beers. You know, had a good time there. Got to see that operation. It's bigger than it looks from the outside.
Oh
the
yeah,
brewery
a lot
there.
bigger.
So it's also tried Hop Cocoa from Wicked Weed, and I enjoyed that one more than I thought. I expected with a name like Hop Cocoa, that'd be real hop forward in that, but. Pretty balanced. Nice cocoa notes in there, so that was really good. A few beers from Mississippi. My sister brought me a Mississippi sampler pack for Christmas over there, so I got to try some brews from Chandeleur, and I had their Island Surfside Pineapple Wheat, which was pretty tasty, light, refreshing, a little tart. And Biloxi Brewing's Black Gold Breakfast Blend Stout, which that's my cup of tea there. So really enjoyed that one quite a lot. So
Crack open a cold one. It's the Truck and Tap Beer of the Week. Craft beer and food trucks in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com.
We're enjoying the good stuff from Omaha Brewing Company. Like No Other Milk Stout, Hanahatchee Creek IPA, and Not a Banana Hefeweizen.
Good stuff. I've got Doc. Thanks so much for this mug. I've got what I believe is about a 900-ounce mug.
Yes, sir.
Right now of Like No Other. So
it's beautiful,
which is the perfect single serving size. I'm enjoying it quite a lot.
And when you're done, it has your name on it. So when you
That's
forget,
right. When I forget, where's my mug? I know it. I got it. So awesome. So yes, a few news headlines this week.
What's in the news? The Beer Guys have the scoop.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for headlines. Sponsored by Your Pie Perimeter in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center across from Perimeter Mall.
Some interesting goings on in the news this week. So Terrapin announced their plans for 2017. They've got a lot of stuff coming up. They are launching their ATL Brew Lab at SunTrust Park. So that's going to be a lot of fun there at the Braves Stadium. They'll be attached to Fox Brothers Barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
That'll barbecue and beer.
Yes.
So, and baseball. So that's the American
2 out of 3 is great.
trifecta.
3 out of 3 is awesome.
Not a sports guy, Brian. Not a sports guy.
I'll watch it while I'm drinking.
Yeah. So that's going to be really cool. You know, having a brewery right there. They're calling it it's a very small brewery, 5-barrel system that they're going to do. They said they invent a lot of beers there. A lot of beers will be created at the Brew Lab, and they'll have probably 8 or 9 on tap that we'll see there. That's going to open in April. It'll be open year-round, and you can access it without going into the stadium. So, Brian, you don't have to watch baseball.
Oh, but I will, as
to
long
get your
as I'm
beer
there.
and barbecue there. Yeah. So that'll be fun. They've also got just a ton of other stuff going on. They've got a lot of new beers that they're launching. They're bringing back the Blood Orange IPA that they did with The Walking Dead, and they're also doing another Walking Dead beer this year. They're going to be doing one called Lucille. That's going to be a blackstrap molasses stout. So that'll be interesting to see. So, and just a lot of other things, other beers that they're introducing up in production there. going to a 5-barrel brew house. Now, I know this will interest you, Brian. They're adding 2 more vessels. You don't hear a lot about 5-barrel brew houses. I mean, you see 2 or 3, but they're going to a 5-barrel system because they're going to do a lot more kettle sours. So that's something that you'll see more Berliners, Gozes, those types of beers from them. So that'll be a good one to see. So for the full story on that, go to beerguysradio.com. We did a write-up with some more information there, so you can check that out. So also, Steady Hand Beer Company is going to be launched. And they've got a launch event coming up this week at the Porter Beer Bar. They're going to have some beers launched there, introduced into the ATL market. I know that they are planning a brewery in Roswell. And they said, I don't believe that brewery's built yet. I think they went another route for getting beer into the market a little quicker. But they're going to introduce themselves, and quite a few breweries take that angle. That's they'll do contract, introduce themselves, gets their names out there, and then while they're building their brewery, like Dry County, they did that. So while they were in the process of building out their brewery, so go check them out. More Georgia beer coming to us here. It's always a good thing. So. And then, Brian, something that I'm just sure you'll have on your countertop. So,
tell me.
So, AB InBev, Budweiser.
Okay.
And Keurig Green Mountain.
All right.
So, do you want a beer K-Cup? Do you think that would be the way you'd like to? Can we get, can you do like no other in K-Cups for this? You think we could see that?
Anything's possible.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So put that in there.
Just let the beer dry out in the sun and scrape the bottom of the glass into a little cup. It'll work just fine.
Just put it right in there. So get it. So I don't know exactly how they're going to implement this, but they are doing a home alcoholic beverage appliance dispenser. And Keurig has what they call their cold technology, KOLD, that they did like a soda fountain with. So it's going to be based around that. And they said beer, cocktail, spirits.
No.
So I don't. It sounds like an amazing machine. So
the cocktail part's really interesting.
That
the
could
beer
be,
part
so.
I would definitely do just for the beer, but the cocktail.
I don't know what I think about an instant beer though. I don't like instant coffee.
No.
So I'm not really sure what or how they would implement an instant beer.
But I would tolerate an instant old fashioned, for example.
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd actually be kind of convenient.
Yes.
Just load the stuff in there.
I mean, there's a lot of times where I
need
need an old fashioned, but I don't have
and
time
you want
to
it
make
instantly,
one.
right?
I want it right
so
now. I don't have time to wait.
Bring me my K-Cup of old fashioned. So yeah, some cool stuff going on there. There's also a few more breweries in the works. That's Nick. You were mentioning one down LaGrange, coming to LaGrange
I
way.
believe it's called Wild Leap. It's a couple of guys from Red Brick that I used to work with that branched off and started their own thing. And I think they just did a little press conference today down in LaGrange with the TV station to basically introduce that to the LaGrange community.
Right. Now, Wild Leap. So Wild, is that a telling sign of what kind of brewery they're going to do, or is it just the name?
I think it has to do with taking a leap of faith and stopping doing what you were doing before and going head deep into this whole brewing thing, which is really what this takes in order to do it correctly.
Absolutely.
So, proud of those guys.
So it'd be cool. I know there's a lot of other breweries in planning in Georgia right now. We keep a list on beerguysradio.com. We're going to be updating that soon for 2017, but there's a lot in the works. So we got some good things coming up, here in Georgia. So it'll be a lot of fun to see.
Did I hear right that there was another brewery being opened by a dentist? Are they taking over brewing in Georgia?
That's it. So, Doc, you mentioned there's what is it, Slow Pour?
It's called Slow Pour. It's here in Atlanta. It's a family of dentists. It's a group practice of a bunch of guys that are together, and it's a father and a couple of sons and a daughter, and one of the kids is opening a brewery called Slow Pour here in Atlanta.
Yeah,
they're brewery and planning right now. They're still working on building their building and getting started.
You're going to allow that, another dentist brewer?
Absolutely.
You're going to be okay with
We're always glad to have friendly competition, somebody that makes really good beer.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
I hear 5 out of 5 dentists will approve of their beers.
Oh, yeah. You got to, we'll start dispensing in the dental office, especially if you do it in Keurig cups. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. That's
after
right.
After the patient gets their cleaning, you just go.
Little self-medication before the root canal.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Rinse with this. What is that? Oh, it's a milk stout. Good deal. Well, I think we're going to take a break here real quick. So
you're listening to Beer Guys Radio. Time for us to take a break. Coming up next, we'll crack open a Truck and Tap Beer of the Week and chat with Robert and Nick from Omaha Brewing Company.
Hey, everybody, it's Scott from Burnt Hickory Brewery in lovely Kennesaw, Georgia. You're listening to Beer Guys Radio.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep. Brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the beer guy sent you.
Can't get enough craft beer talk? Of course you can't. That's why you need to head to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts and sign up right now for Project BGR. Project BGR is where Tim and myself get to talk to some of the big names in brewing from across the country and the world. We get the scoop on what's going on with breweries like Cigar City, Boston Beer Company, Jester King, Burial, Ballast Point, and more. Project BGR, new shows every other week. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Project BGR, it's a craft beer podcast. If you're a fan of Belgian beers, you cannot miss Nuit Belge. It's February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nuit Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of Atlanta's best chefs. Tickets are going fast, so head to nuitbelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR for $30 off admission. That's Nuit Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. Use promo code BGR for $30 off.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles, too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out, Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guy sent you.
If you really like craft beer, the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market invites you to their store. Not just growlers and craft beer, but everything you need for backyard barbecues and tailgating is available at Stout Brothers. Big Green Egg, accessories, local meats, cheeses, sauces, pickles, and more. If the gang's plans involve your backyard this weekend, you gotta visit the Stout Brothers. Stock up today and get ready for life. It's quite simple. If you really like craft beer, you have to visit the Stout Brothers Smyrna Beer Market in the Smyrna Market Village.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. Woo!
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com. We are broadcasting today from Your Pie Perimeter at Perimeter Center. We're here with Nick and Doc from Omaha Brewing Company, enjoying some milk stout right now, and we're going to talk shop. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thanks a bunch, man. Been loving the show, listening to it. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So, Doc, how about telling us a little bit about your craft beer story? There's got to be an interesting story there. As we mentioned, you're a dentist, so how does that work out? How did that come to be?
Omaha is where I was born and raised. This is a very, very small town of about 100 people in southwest Georgia. I lived up in Atlanta and practiced dentistry for 31 years here and kept trying to get back home and knew eventually we were going to move back and wanted to do something to create jobs for the local community, for our family, and for our friends. And we looked into opening a winery to start with. So we started planting in South Georgia. Basically, the wine that does well is a muscadine wine. We started planting grapes and planted about 10 or 11 acres of grapes, and my wife and I went on vacation. And on the way home, we went by an artesian well, which is basically a constantly flowing well that flows out on top of the ground. And I looked at my wife and I said, that's going to be the name of our first beer. And she looked up at me and she said, I kind of thought we was going to open a winery. I said, yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. But
surprise!
After planting all these grapes and realizing it's going to be 7 years or so before there's any kind of return, and there's going to be so few jobs created for us or our family or our community, I said, right now the thing to do would be to open a brewery. And she said, okay, I'm in. So she's my current partner, and at that point we started doing a lot of research, a lot of reading. We started going on a bunch of brew tours, and that's where we met Nick, our current brewmaster, and
hopefully forever brewmaster.
Forever, he's part of the family. So we've adopted Nick. He's become part of our family, and so we met Nick, and that was around Christmas of 2012. And then Nick came down late spring of 13, and we had bought a small system, a Sabco, to put together to do some experiments with. Nick came down and brewed on it for the first time. He actually assembled it himself, and he and our son Rob put it together, and it was kind of a match made in heaven after that. Nick signed on with us and moved to Omaha, and we wound up sending Nick back to Siebel and Dolmans in Germany to get his brewmaster. And then in the fall, late fall, around Christmas of 13, he started putting our recipes together. And from there, the rest is history.
You still planning on the winery, or did
Absolutely.
Did that, okay.
Absolutely.
Because you said you were getting invested, but the brewery was kind of came in, so some wine coming in the future, huh?
Wine will be within the next year and a half.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to plan on doing a distillery from our grapes also.
Okay.
You know what wine means? Wine barrel
beers. That's
it means a lot of things. Yes. It also means spontaneous fermentation, cool ships, new ideas down in the South that really have never been down here.
Awesome.
On the template that we're looking to build it on, kind of a farm setting, similar to something like you would hear out of like Jester King or something like that. So that's the kind of destination we're trying to build down there in Omaha.
So Nick, I know we know a little bit of the story about how you ended up there with those guys. So what made you head down to Omaha?
Man, I was a young guy. I kind of had the world at my fingertips at the time, and so I decided, struck up a good relationship with Dr. Lee and kind of wanted to just write it out and see what was to become of it, and it was already better than what I thought it was going to be once we started, just because it just seemed so easy. It was always easy. We always did everything we told each other we were going to do, which is a great foundation to build upon, and we just kind of took it from there. It was I loved the open spaces outside of the city. I'm from Atlanta, even driving up here to do this interview today, it was just frustrating dealing with the traffic. So it was kind of nice to get out of the city and kind of fell in love. I got bit by the Omaha bug, as we say.
Okay, all righty.
So,
Speaking of Omaha, where is Omaha exactly for people like me who don't actually know?
Omaha is in southwest Georgia. We're in a small county. It's one of the smallest counties in the state as far as population, larger as far as land mass. We're just south of Columbus, Georgia. We're on the Georgia-Alabama line. We're kind of halfway between Columbus and Eufaula. For most Atlanta folks, we're considered the halfway point to Panama City.
Okay.
So in the springtime, when they're headed to Panama City, they go right by the brewery.
There you go. I think our listeners need to know that when you're going down to Panama City, you
look for the
there's
billboards.
A beer stop on the way down.
Look for the billboards and stop in and have a beer on the way down or on the way back, and take all the beer you want to take to Florida. Just stop in the local stores around there and buy it.
Now, Doc, you and I were talking a little bit before we came on the air, kind of about Omaha and the brewery and starting it up. And you mentioned briefly, kind of intro here, that job creation was important to you. You said there's not really a lot down there in Omaha. So
there's not in the county. We're considered a T1 county, which is a very, very poor county. We're the poorest county in the state of Georgia. There's 2 of those counties in Georgia that gives a federal designation of a T1 county. Stewart County has basically 3 employers. One is the school system, and the other, there's a federal prison there also. That's a pretty good ways from us. And then we're number 3. We employ about 19 people, so we're the 3rd largest employer in the county. And of those 19, half of them work at the brewery and half of them work at the dental office.
All right. Now you mentioned, speaking of that, 19 people in that. When I was looking up info on the brewery, you're actually bigger than I realized. You guys upgraded just 2015, was it?
Yes, sir.
So you actually have a 30-barrel brew house down there. Is that right?
We do.
Yeah, we put it online in January of 2015. That is correct.
All right. And how's that? How's the community there as far as craft beer goes? The local support you mentioned. Craft beer in a small town is a tough thing to do. And,
not in Stewart County, because when Stewart County found out we wanted to open a brewery, Stewart County was a dry county, and they changed it from a dry county to a wet county.
Okay.
So they're very, very open arms to welcome us there, because they want to create any kind of jobs they can, and they're just tickled to death. I mean, they very much support us. They all come to the tasting room on the weekends. They bring a lot of friends. We also we have a lot of reception from people in surrounding counties because there's not really anything. I saw the other day where somebody said they're opening the only brewery in South Georgia. Well, we were the first brewery in South Georgia.
There you go. Yeah.
We're just in Southwest Georgia.
All right.
So the local reception was really positive, but how has it been since you've expanded distribution into Atlanta?
It's been very, very, it's been great. I mean, Atlanta has really been very receptive for us. The distributors we signed with up here have done a really good job for us. We pretty much distribute all over the state except in Savannah and Brunswick, and that simply is because logistics-wise, it's a long ways from Omaha, Georgia to get to Savannah. I mean, it's half the distance to get to Atlanta than it is to get to Savannah.
Now, I did read that you were thinking about expanding into eastern Alabama. Did you guys ever
do
that?
We already have.
Oh, you already have, so you're available
in
there
eastern
as
Alabama.
Well. Okay.
Our next project will be into the panhandle of Florida.
Oh, all right.
Because we're actually closer to the panhandle of Florida than we are to where we're sitting right now.
That's what I was going to say. I figured you guys were closer down to that side of things. So yeah. So outside of that, I mean, what's your goal with that? Do you want to be a big brewery? Do you want to go nationwide or around the place? Are you looking to take care of your neighbors?
We really, really want to take care of our neighbors and be a southeastern United States brewery. We'd really like to be in Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina. That's my goal.
Okay.
Is to take it to that point. We never know what's going to be in the future. Our demand's been great for us just simply because our brewmaster makes such great beers. But logistics again.
Are you saying that because he's sitting right next to you?
No.
Yeah, he does that.
Because when I first opened a brewery, I did not drink beer. And now I love beer.
So you went by and saw that spring and said, I'm starting a brewery, and you didn't even drink beer at the time.
I did not.
I
was a vodka and wine person.
Okay. Well, that's one way to
he plays it that way.
Beer,
let me tell you, he really knew what he was doing. He'd read some books and he had talked to some people, and it goes deeper than what he's telling you, but that's for us to know.
I mean, that's the fun thing. I'm telling you, I like this style, though. You just drive by and see a spring, I'm going to start a brewery.
I want to know more about the spring. How is that affecting your brewing?
Well, let me tell you it this way. That's more of a question on my end. One of the main things is the Hanahatchee Creek supplies that particular artesian well. That artesian well actually is what we pull our water from the brewery, for the brewery. So it's great water. We get it tested once a month in our pilot brewery and in our production brewery, and we adjust our recipes accordingly. But that water, even the Hanahatchee Creek namesake, it goes as deep as being our flagship IPA.
Coming back from the break, we'll have the hot list plus Tim's Whale of the Week and more beer talk with Omaha Brewing. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. BeerGuysRadio.com. We'll be right back.
There is something in the air in Kennesaw. I'm sure you've noticed it. It is the sweet, sweet smell of barbecue permeating from The Nest, a new barbecue and beer restaurant in K-Town. The Nest is your new restaurant if you really love barbecue. Ribs, brisket, chicken, oh my. Did we mention the bar? The Nest of Kennesaw offers 49 taps of craft beer and an amazing bottle list as well. It's quite simple. If you really like barbecue and craft beer, you have to visit The Nest. Barbecue and beer in Kennesaw, near historic downtown on Cherokee. If you're a fan of Belgian beers, you cannot miss Nuit Belge. It's February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nuit Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of Atlanta's best chefs. Tickets are going fast, so head to nuitbelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR for $30 off admission. That's Nuit Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. Use promo code BGR for $30 off.
It's Aaron and Tim, the beer guys. If you're like us, no lunch or dinner is complete without a pint or two of craft beer.
Which is why Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock is always on our list. Tim, why do they call it Truck and Tap?
Well, the tap part is easy. They have 12 of them. Bottles too. Not sure what to drink? All of their beer servers are Cicerone certified. And if you got someone who isn't a beer fan, not to worry. Truck and Tap carries wine, mixed drinks, and even handcrafted sodas.
As for the truck part, well, that's when it gets interesting. Truck and Tap features your favorite Atlanta area food trucks daily. That way, you're getting a different menu every day.
Check it out. Truck and Tap in downtown Woodstock. Truckandtap.com. Let them know that the beer guys sent you.
Hey, it's Aaron, and you know what I hate? When I miss a favorite TV show and forget to DVR it. Don't let this tragic tale happen to you when it comes to Beer Guys Radio. Subscribe to us on demand. It is easy. If you've got iTunes, Stitcher, or any other iOS or Android podcast app, search for us or go to beerguysradio.com, click listen, and you can copy and paste the RSS feed. While you're there, by the way, give us a review. It really helps. That's Beer Guys Radio on demand. Catch it today.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep, brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the Beer Guy sent you.
Ahoy there, mateys! Hunting whales? We've got you covered with Tim's Whale of the Week.
Give me a yard, Brian.
Yar! Tim, what do we have for the whales this week?
Man, we got a few good ones to watch out for. So as we mentioned earlier in the show, Steady Hand Beer Company's launching. So they're at the 17th, they'll be at the Porter, introducing some beers there. I don't know what's on tap for them just yet. I haven't seen that, but go check it out. So some new Georgia beer coming up. One of my favorites, Southerly Love. It's a collaboration with Creature Comforts and Seventh Son out of Florida. That's coming back. So that's they're doing brewery only this time. But that also releases on the 17th. So, have to make the trip to Athens.
Love that. I may have to go over there even if it's midweek.
It's worth the trip, right?
Yeah.
So and then one, I may be late announcing this because it hit early in the week, but Wicked Weed's French Toast Stout made its way to Atlanta. So that's one. Brian, do you have any of that one?
I don't. I wish I did.
Brian's my connection because he's in town and I live out in the suburbs. So if there's a beer that doesn't make it out to my neck of the woods.
And I'm so reckless with my money.
He is.
Oh, I'm so reckless.
That's what I love about him.
There you go.
So, yeah. So that's it, Brian. There's a few to keep an eye out for. So
I will keep an eye out for all of those.
But this week we're talking Omaha. So,
yes,
and Brian, you had a beer nerd question for Nick, didn't you?
Yeah, I was going to ask with the well, the artisanal well. So, what's the water like out of that? Is that kind of hard water more favoring IPAs, or soft water more favoring stouts? I mean, where does that fall?
I could get really technical and get into how many parts per million or parts per billion that our calcium levels are at. But basically, what you need to know is that our water is pretty equal to both, and we can build it up to whatever we need.
Okay.
And it also, a lot of the time, it depends on what the water table is looking like. We're just barely into the Florida water table where we sit. The biggest concern that I had with brewing beer with this water was the amount of iron that is usually in that water table. We're incredibly fortunate that we do not have hardly any iron in our water. We can build up whatever we need to in the metal department for that, but basically we've got great water. We can do what we need to with it, and a lot of the times, it depends on the rainfall that we get month to month. And so we do get our water tested in both breweries per month, which is more than most do, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And we build each recipe accordingly with the proper software, and we do math. So
doing math, and it's one
drinking
of the necessary evils of brewing, right?
Yeah. Drinking and math sometimes don't mix, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, water chemistry is something that still just stumps me. I mean, I've even got I think it's called Brew Easy or the
Brewing Water,
and all those. No, it's still.
Oh yeah.
I have a good friend that's a home brewer and a scientist.
Me too, and he's my head brewer now.
There you go. That's the way to do it then. So, but he's a guy that everything just super clicks for him, and it makes sense. Not only does it click, but it excites him.
Oh yeah.
To do stuff like water chemistry. He did. We did a presentation at our homebrew meeting, and he goes into this super deep description of everything that's going on, and then he looks at us like, ta-da, and we're all just blank stares.
Eyes glassed completely over.
As most
Not that
of us
it wasn't
are.
interesting. It was super interesting in that.
Sure.
Just above my pay grade for scientific. But that's why I have friends like that.
For those homebrewers out there, the best thing to do is if you have the time and the patience, go buy yourself a 5-gallon jug of Avion or whatever the hell it is, and learn that profile and brew based off of that profile.
Right.
It'll make your beers flocculate better, ferment better, all kinds of stuff. Water chemistry is absolutely important to making a good beer.
That's something that we've talked about with our home brewing. That's our next step. We're pretty happy with our beer. but we know we could take it to the next level. And water chemistry is something we just haven't got into.
It's
that
still
much,
magic to us. Sure. You know? It's technology beyond us.
Yeah. So, guys, if we take a road trip down to Omaha and come check out the brewery, what can we expect there? Doc, what can we expect down at Omaha Brewing Company?
To start with, you'll feel like you got lost and you're going, where am I going?
Yes. And then you're in the right place.
Then
if
all
you
of
feel
a sudden
lost,
you look
right?
up and there's the brewery, and it's like, man, this feels like home. And it's all about family and home. When you get there, you know, we took an old elementary school. It's about a 14,000 square foot building. We converted that into the pilot brewery and also a tasting room. So it still has that old charm of a 1940 schoolhouse. And then you go on the inside, and my wife and my partner Stephanie decorated the inside. And it's incredibly beautiful. Nick turned one end of it into our pilot brewery, and it's really, really cool. And then you walk outside, and you're in a state-of-the-art modern brewery. You know, a brand new 30-barrel, all U.S.-made steel, incredible brew house.
Awesome. Sounds like a place I want to hang out, though. You know,
yeah, it sounds great to me.
That's what people say when they get there.
Yeah.
So come on.
When are we going? I like road trips.
I actually had a couple friends that went down, and they said exactly what you said, Doc. You're going to feel like you're just in the middle of nowhere. That it's it's really out there, but once you get there,
it's worth the ride.
So yeah.
We're about making you feel comfortable when you get there. That's
yes. Well, you've got beer, so that's a good start.
That's all it really takes for me, basically, is beer.
Absolutely.
So you guys aren't too far away from Richland Rum, are you? Like
we're
30, 40 miles maybe?
We're actually
like
28 miles. We're on the most western side of Stewart County, and they're on the absolute furthest eastern side of Stewart County.
Have you guys worked together on anything?
We have. We've been doing some collaborations with them.
Okay.
Eric is an incredible guy, incredibly smart, makes some awesome rum. He is such a generous man, and he and his wife both are just incredible people. So Nick and he have gotten together and done some collaborations, and you'll start seeing more of that in the future.
Oh,
he invited, we had him on the show not too long ago. We had Eric Vonk and Independent Distilling on, and, saying he's a generous, nice guy. Independent said that he was the reason they did rum, with the support from him. So, and he invited us to come down and hang out in the sugarcane fields and drink rum. So we
on your way back, you should hit up Omaha
trip down
Brewing.
there, right?
That's right. It's a great trip.
So.
Good road trip.
Yeah. So that guys, question about the community. You mentioned smaller community beer and that. A lot of your beers are quite approachable. Like the Not a Banana Hefeweizen. That's something that people they're not going to be turned away from if they're newer to beer. I imagine, I'm speculating, I could be totally wrong, but I imagine Omaha is not a craft beer town, so to speak. So probably
You're
a lot
correct. It's a yellow beer town.
Yeah. So how is that? Are you? I know talking to other breweries in those kind of places, there's a lot of educating the community on those types of beers and introducing them to them.
So with our tap room, we require our servers to get level 1 Cicerone certified. That kind of bridges that gap. Just having our beer servers certified, beer server approved or certified, whatever you want to call it. That certainly helps. The people behind the bar being able to explain what we have to our customers. And then furthermore, we also brew styles that are, approachable for that particular demographic. We brew a German-style Helles lager called Nat Knocker. You'll be seeing that in cans later this year. We do all kinds of great lagers. 10-Point Bock, that's a good 7% amber lager that's in the tap room right now. We have a bunch of stuff that's approachable, so that's kind of how we navigate those waters.
Get there, yeah, absolutely. And Doc, we were talking a little bit, Fort Benning is not far from you guys, right? And you've actually done a couple beers kind of military-inspired, I guess?
We have, because due to the laws, you can't really use a military emblem, so we wanted something that the Fort Benning guys could associate themselves with. So we have one that's called 5.56, which is the NATO round that anybody that's been in the military associates with.
Right.
And that's an incredible beer that Nick makes. It's a 5.5% alcohol dry hop lager. And then we wanted something a little bit stronger for some of the guys, their sniper rifles and their machine guns, which is a 7.62, and that's an Imperial Brown Ale with toasted coconut. And Fort Benning, they absolutely love it. We get a tremendous amount of traffic from the families that are coming to visit the people that are stationed there. And so for us, it's very eye-opening because we have people from all over the United States, literally all over the world every weekend.
Absolutely.
That are coming to our brewery and trying the beers and going, oh my goodness, this is not what we expected. and we want to take this home with us.
We also get a lot of repeat customers as far as the military families go.
Yeah,
we're very family friendly tap room as well. So children, everything, that all works. Yeah.
That's something a lot of people ask. I keep a list of breweries in Georgia with their tour times and that, and we had whether or not they were dog friendly, but we didn't mention family friendly. And someone said, "Hey, is this brewery family friendly? I'd like to know which ones are."
We take kids and dogs, and we have a blast. We even have some of the active military that are volunteers there that come and help us.
Yeah. I bet being military guys coming from all over that it's nice to have some good beers available rather than just the yellow beers. So,
time for another break. Coming up next, we'll have a giveaway to give away, and we'll tell you what's on the hot list. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, broadcasting from your pie perimeter. Make sure to follow Beer Guys Radio on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for the latest in Georgia and Alabama beer. We'll be right back.
This is Glenn Golden from Jailhouse Brewing Company. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
The Beer Guys are back right after this.
Can't get enough craft beer talk? Of course you can't. That's why you need to head to iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcasts and sign up right now for Project BGR. Project BGR is where Tim and myself get to talk to some of the big names in brewing from across the country and the world. We get the scoop on what's going on with breweries like Cigar City, Boston Beer Company, Jester King, Burial, Ballast Point, and more. Project BGR, new shows every other week. Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcast. Project BGR, it's a craft beer podcast. If you're a fan of Belgian beers, you cannot miss Nuit Belge. It's February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill in downtown Atlanta. Nuit Belge pairs Belgian and Belgian-inspired beers along with some of Atlanta's best chefs. Tickets are going fast, so head to nuitbelge.com/Atlanta today. Use promo code BGR for $30 off admission. That's Nuit Belge, an evening of Belgian beers and fantastic food. Saturday, February 25th at the Foundry at Puritan Mill. Tickets and details at nuitbelge.com/Atlanta. Use promo code BGR for $30 off.
Morgan and Lisa with Your Pie Perimeter here. We'd like to invite you to our store for a beer.
Is there anything better than pizza?
Yep. Brick oven pizza that's made fresh and paired with a cold craft beer.
That's what you get at Your Pie Perimeter, located in the Perimeter Place Shopping Center by Perimeter Mall.
It's the perfect place to relax on the patio with a pint after work or bring the family in.
Follow Your Pie Perimeter on Facebook for all our beer events and specials, including beer tastings that you won't find anywhere else.
That's Your Pie Perimeter, located in Perimeter Place Shopping Center next to Chipotle. Tell them that the Beer Guys sent you.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Check us out at beerguysradio.com. We are on location today at Your Pie Perimeter. We're talking to Nick and Doc from Omaha Brewing Company, right? So, beautiful logo. Your truck is very Omaha Brewing Company, isn't it, Doc? So
yes, sir, including the mud on the tires.
Make sure every bit of it, right?
That's right.
So we've got a little hot list action, Brian. Some stuff coming up there. So since Aaron's not here, since he's on assignment, air quotes.
Time for the hot list. The Beer Guys have the scoop on what you need to know for next week.
That's hot.
On Tuesday, Snake Handler Can Launch Party at Hop City, Birmingham at 5 p.m. On Wednesday, Moody Tongue Tasting at Wish You Were Beer, Madison, 6 p.m. Thursday, Yellowhammer Cheatin' Heart IPA Release Party, Old Town Beer Exchange in Huntsville at 5 p.m. And on Friday, the Mandarin Chief Release at Back 40 Beer Company in Gadsden at 6 p.m. That's a black IPA, Tim.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I give it a shot. Yeah,
I would too.
Yellowhammer's got a cool spot over there.
Yeah,
we
went
went there
yeah.
when we took our trip over there. So
Very
Huntsville's
cool.
a cool little beer town in
Yeah.
general. It's a fun place. So we got some awesome stuff coming up in Georgia.
Oh, do
too,
we,
Brian? We do. So tomorrow, right here at Your Pie Perimeter, is a Sunday Fun Day. And they've got select cans and bottles for only $3.14. So you see what they did there, Brian?
Yeah,
with that, you get that one?
3.14159 exactly.
That's the
price.
exact
Yes,
price.
That's the exact price.
So, also Sunday is the Wake and Bake Off at Argosy. So Terrapin's Wake and Bake, people cook with it. So an event there. Tuesday, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Steady Hand Beer Company is launching at the Porter Beer Bar. On Thursday, Burial Beer Company does their Athens launch. They came to Atlanta not long ago. They've been hugely popular here because they make great beer. And they're going to be launching up in Athens at Trapeze Bar.
Love
doing
Trapeze.
co-tap takeover with Creature Comforts.
Ooh.
So get your burial and your Creature Comforts at Trapeze. 3 great things that go great together.
Yes.
So. And then also we've got the Chefs versus Brewers is a Reformation beer dinner at the Nest. That's on Thursday. Also Thursday, Second Self Pint Night right here at Your Pie Perimeter. They have a featured pint, Brian.
Featured pints.
For $3.14.
3.14 again. 159.
Stout is working.
And if you're not, yes, it is. That's what I get. I said earlier, we usually do little samples on that, but I had to try out my new, very cool Omaha 40-gallon mug. So my brew house isn't this big. My home brew house. So it's doing the job. So Second Self Pint Night at Your Pie, 314 pints, Brian. So we also have yoga and beer, if that's your thing, at Georgia Beer Garden. So go check out some Georgia beers, do some yoga, get limbered up. Next Saturday, super big event, awesome event, is the Atlanta Cask Ale Tasting. So, guys, you going to be there? You will be at the
We don't have any cask planned for it, but I know that our buddies do. I know John Roberts over at JR over at Max Lager's got some good stuff going on, and I know a bunch of other brewers that got some.
That's an awesome event.
Go out, do it.
It's great.
Not just the cask ales, but a lot of the brewers come up. It's a very industry-friendly event. If you want to talk to a brewer about the cask they made, ACAT is a great place to do it. It allows the brewers to get creative, check some things out.
When we have more time in the future, we'll be partaking in that.
Getting on that? Good deal. So, well, guys, we had a few more questions we wanted to chat with you about here, and one is your beers. So we talked kind of about the military-themed beers and that. We've talked about the Not a Banana and the Hanahatchee Creek, but Nick, you said you have done over 70 brewery-only releases. Is that correct?
So we opened our tap room April 1st last year, 2016, and as of December 31st, 2016, we had put 78 beers through 16 tap lines.
Wow.
78 different beers. That's everything from our production brewery to our pilot brewery to our extreme pilot brewery, 10-gallon, 15-gallon Sapco. Yeah. So really proud of that. We have some winners coming out of the group. One of them being Nat Knocker, Munich Helles Lager, or German-style lager. You'll be looking for that in cans, in Omaha cans, coming up here probably summertime of this year. Yep. There's some other things as well. We were talking briefly about the Richland rum deal and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as that goes, we've got some really good stuff right now. Nonick Beer Bar down in Columbus is about to tap a collaboration tomorrow. It's called the Three Ghosts, and in about a month and a half, it's basically a coffee imperial stout that we did with a bunch of different companies out of the Columbus area, a local roaster, a local pepper grower, all kinds of things. So just really cool things like that. Richland Rum being one of those as well. There will be a barrel age release coming of that, probably in about February. So be on the lookout for that as well. 2017 is going to be a pretty awesome year for beer releases for Omaha Brewing. Like I said, Nat Knocker, can't harp on it enough. It's a great lager. Can't wait to have that in cans. We also have some other releases. 10-point Bach, not 7-point, 10-point Bach will be a rum barrel aged.
Sir, have you been drinking?
Maybe a little bit. So 7-point Bach, right?
That's right. Good enough. That's it. Yes.
That'd be a cold.
That'll be the first thing that we do with Richland. We're going to release a barrel aged version of the 10-point Bach beer, and then we're going to turn around and reuse those barrels for an English mild. And
very cool.
Eric Vonk over at Richland is very happy about those products. So are we. Toast to Stewart County.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Cheers.
Very good.
So we've kind of danced around a little bit, but maybe you should tell us about the beer we're drinking here.
Sure. This is the Like No Udder Milk Stout. It's a great beer. It's something that we started producing on the Sabco, actually, back in 2014. Doc and Stephanie, the owners of Omaha Brewing Company, fell in love with it. All of our consumers at festivals fell in love with it. We launched it actually at the Candler Park version of the Georgia Craft Beer Festival in 2014. And it went over hand over fist well, and Tim just finished his 40-gallon.
Finished it. Yes.
83 ounces of it. All in one swallow.
Good stuff. It's a great, it's actually a little bit higher ABV than most milk stouts out there on the market. It's clocking in at about 8.1.
I could tell that.
We did it for the first time this year, this past winter, well, this current winter, I should say, on our 30-barrel system. So proud to be able to do high-gravity beers in our current setup. This is the first time we've been able to do that.
Awesome. Guys, if folks want to check up to date as to what's going on at Omaha Brewing Company, where can they get the info from you?
You got your Twitter feed. You got the Facebook feed. Facebook feed's always the best because that's what we focus on daily, and you can get up-to-date tap lists and whatnot, tour pricing, etc., who's going to be there food truck-wise or whatnot, concert-wise. But certainly our website, Omaha Brewing Company, all spelled out, .com.
All right.
Please give us a visit there. You can check out upcoming beers and all the news and latest and greatest from Omaha Brewing Company.
And that's, you mentioned something I don't think we'd mentioned before, food trucks and bands and that. So you
That's
guys
correct, yes.
have food trucks and music down there at the brewery,
on the 15th. Right? We want to make sure you guys have money when you come. So on the 15th of every month, post the 15th of every month, we make sure that we have food. Actually, every Saturday we have food trucks.
Every Saturday we have live music and food trucks.
There we go.
There
we go.
Yeah.
Yes,
very cool.
There you go.
Awesome. Guys, we really appreciate you joining us. I very much enjoyed my Like No Udder here. Definitely, as
I
you
can tell.
See,
yeah.
As you can see. So
like
we appreciate
no
it.
udder.
We'll have to make that road trip. We'll have to come down,
We'd love to have
check out
you.
Richland, come
more than
over.
welcome.
And you said
Any
we
of the
might even
listeners, too.
head out in the fields there with some do a little target practice.
Do a
if
little
we come
target
down,
practice
right?
with different weapons, maybe even a little 50 caliber sniper rifle.
So there we go.
I want to
So-
shoot a keg now that I've seen it done.
So, all of that before the brewery visit. Though.
I tell you what,
Oh,
you
yeah.
bring your own
Yes.
keg to shoot, and we'll shoot it.
Yeah, we'll fill her up. And
We do
shoot
have a
it,
few
right?
beers that actually we could do that
So
with.
we might
yeah.
Pick your keg of
Need
choice
to
and
carve
bring it
them up.
with you. Yes.
That's it. Yeah, there are some beers that we actually I think they're in bottles, but we have had a keg or two of homebrew that maybe we should have shot it. That probably would have been the best thing for it. So, yeah.
Thank you guys for having us very much.
You bet,
Once
guys.
again.
We appreciate it.
This
Great
really
to
is
hang
a
out with
privilege
you.
for us. Thank you so
much. Very much. So, and thanks to Your Pie Perimeter for hosting us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
Thanks,
fun to
Your
come
Pie.
out. Great environment. You know, they've got craft beer. They have pizzas, fresh pizzas. They make it right there in front of you, Brian.
Yes.
You
Yes,
can
they do.
watch them prepare it and put it in the oven. They have salads that they make that are very nice. And they even have some, what's the Italian ice cream?
Gelato.
Gelato.
Yeah,
They have
good
gelato,
stuff.
too. So it's a cool place. So
Lisa and
definitely check
Morgan
it
are
out.
a
So
great host.
They are, very much,
Really.
absolutely.
Hey, Tim.
Yes, sir.
You know what time it is?
What time is it, Ryan?
It's time for a giveaway.
I have a giveaway to give away. So,
Tim, who's the lucky winner?
Our lucky winner this week is Dan Cottle. So, Dan, drop us an email to beerguys@beerguysradio.com. We'll get you a very cool swag pack out. And, Brian, if folks want to enter to get their very own Beer Guys Radio swag pack, how would they do that?
By magic.
Magic.
Actually, they just visit.
If they don't
Beer
have
Guys-
magic, what should they do?
Oh,
So-
if they don't have magic, well, fine. Just visit beerguysradio.com and sign up for This Week in Georgia Beer. You'll get a weekly newsletter with all the happenings in Georgia beer, and you'll also be entered to win our weekly swag pack.
That's easy enough. Anyone can do it. So
Anyone.
So easy a caveman can do it. I don't know if I can say that.
I think that's already been
I was gonna say, I
TM.
think someone's taken that. So, yeah, we'll scratch that. So, again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate it. Coming up next week, Brian, do you know who's going to be with us next week?
No, tell me, Tim.
Scott Hadeen.
Oh, my God.
From Burnt Hickory Brewery.
OMG.
So,
Real quick, little caveat.
yeah.
Omaha Brewing Company bought our first fermenters from Mr. Hadeen.
Okay.
The one-barrel Blakeman, so we got a lot to thank for him anyway.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Scott's always a good time. Thanks for joining us. BeerGuysRadio.com. Have a great week, and remember, drink local. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're on demand via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Always online at beerguysradio.com. Aaron and Tim are back next week with more about the amazing world of craft beer. Cheers. The Beer Guys Radio Show on the Beer Guys Radio Network. BeerGuysRadio.com.